Hey everyone, today I want to talk about how the product development cycle is completely inverted because of vibe coding technologies. I'll go into how it's accelerating innovation through forward deployed product management and customer success architects. The traditional product cycle started with research, product managers talking to customers, conducting market research, and writing a detailed market requirements document. And then they spent weeks writing product definition documents and technical specifications. Engineers wrote the technical specs, and then they developed the capabilities for months, and then it was released. And in many cases, the feature that was delivered did not meet the requirements of customers, and it goes back into the cycle of changing. um, or the feature was released, the customers never use the product because they don't see value, and it becomes a shelfware. It doesn't get used. So this is how traditional product development cycle worked. Still works in many cases. But what is happening now is, the because of vibe coding technologies, um, the the product development cycle or the product build cycle is completely inverted, and this is already happening in many companies, including my own company. Um, what is happening right now is product managers are uh, you know creating capabilities with simple prompts, normally referred to as vibe coding. They build and deploy capabilities, um, just to a specific customer, usually restricted within just their instance of the software, assuming they're a software as a service company. And this usually happens within hours or days at best. And then, because this was built in very close collaboration with this one customer or a couple of customers, the customer immediately sees the product because it is pushed to production right away, with a click of a button. And the customers use the product, they give immediate feedback. Forward deployed product managers refine the product, and then the customer actually uses the product, and when they use the product they give much better feedback. um, and then the another interesting thing happens right now. When we do this, the large language models can now write the product definition documents, which used to take several days for a product manager, from the code that was deployed. It can write the design definition documents or the design mocks, and it can also write technical specification documents, at least the initial draft of the documents, and automatically. You don't have to tell the LLM. As long as an agent is there, it automatically creates those things. And then, because we already know that this is a very valuable function already being used by customers and they find value in it, we can then come back and make the necessary modifications or enhancements to make it scale across multiple customers, make sure all the foundational capabilities like access controls and security and things like that work really well, make sure the edge cases are covered, and then deploy it across customers. So, um, this is already happening today. Now, you may think that that sounds very theoretical and abstract. I mean, what does it mean in the real world? If you are a software as a service company, um, what will it look like? How will a product manager or forward deployed product manager go and build something? Where will they go? What will they do? What will the experience look like? And then, later on, I'm going to also add that not just forward deployed product managers, but customer success architects. In my company, um, the old customer success manager role is redefined as customer success architects. What that means is, the people who are playing that role are not just responsible for the customer relationship, they're still responsible for keeping the customers, making the customer successful, expansion of contract, renewal of contract, and so on. But they're also responsible for listening to their needs, and in some cases even building the things that they need using vibe coding tools. So how will all these things work? So let me show you a demo of this. Is obviously a very simplified version of the demo. um, I built a hypothetical, obviously a very simplified SaaS product to show how a forward deployed product manager will build new capabilities, and how a customer success architect will then refine those capabilities without having to come back to product and engineering for certain things. So let's say you have a SaaS application, you're like capabilities.com or something, and you have certain capabilities, customers are using them, and then the forward deployed product manager um, listens to the customer, they have some new needs, and they will have a button, and somewhere in the app they will have a button. They will have a vibe coding tool built into their application. Think of it as Claude Code or Replit or Lovable, but just for your domain, just for your customers, your area. Obviously, you would have customized it for your domain and your needs. So they will say, okay, I want to build something for this customer. And let's say I'm a forward deployed product manager, and I'm just calling this the capability builder. And I'll just say, okay, create a, let's say let's say the customer has asked for a calculator to be added to their application. Now I'm obviously making this up. They could be asking for anything. They could be asking for new workflows. They could be asking for new reports. They could be asking for new analysis capabilities, whatever that might be. Whatever is your business, the forward deployed PM will come and say, okay, create a calculator, um, and then say, create, generate. So what's happening is the forward deployed PM is going to the app, like your app that you're providing to your customer, and using a certain part of that app to actually build the app. This is the whole idea of software building software, right? Um, so here it is. Like, so the app is built. It's a simple calculator, and let's say this the you know the product manager will view the capability and make sure that the capability works, and then deploy this capability just in a very contained manner, just for that customer. Now, if the so let's say um, customers using it, they're fine, and maybe a month or two later, the customer success architect is talking to the customers. They meet them every week or every month, and they're telling them, oh, I need some changes to this particular thing. Normally what happens is, in the old model, the customer success architect, or what we used to call as customer success manager, used to come back, create some sort of a request, and it goes to product will prioritize, then it'll go to design, engineering will create it. Maybe majority of these requests never get implemented. But in this case, what will happen is the customer success architect, they will also be working with the customer on their product. They will have access to a build or a refine button, and then they will say, refine this capability. Let's say in this case they want to change it to, we change the change the button colors to green. I don't know if it'll change or not, because I just built this pretty quickly, but you get the idea. The Yeah, it did change to green. So the customer success manager, the customer success architect will also have a capability, again vibe coded, Replit or Lovable or Cloud Code like capability, that they will change it. Now, okay, now let's come back to um, what does this mean for these roles. So, as we saw, the development process is completely inverted now. Instead of market research, product definition, engineering, and then months of work and then late feedback, what we are doing right now, this is happening right now in many companies, including mine, is the forward deployed PM vibe codes the capabilities, then actually deploys the capabilities onto the customer's instance of the software. Then once a customer likes it, the product definition documents and the design documents are automatically derived. That's I'll show that as well. For example, here, when I asked the builder, builder to build this, it not only built the capability, it also wrote the product definition document for it. Okay, this is what it is. So the product definition documents are automatically written. Now you can write the design documents. You can write user documentation. You can write release notes. All these things can be done by the LLM, by the AI agents automatically. Um, and then and then you come back because you know that this capability is already being used by the customer and it's bringing them enormous value. Now we can come back and make sure that it is designed for scale. And okay, what happens if we deploy this across 100 or thousands of customers? Do we need to do any additional work? And that kind of engineering and design work is still important. It's still valid. Everything cannot be just vibe coded and published to thousands of customers. But this whole process cuts the first of all eliminates waste, and it makes the entire development process, at least in our case that I have noticed for a few months now, about 10 times faster. So let's look at the role of forward deployed PMs. What does it mean? Forward deployed product managers now take on the role of researchers, designers, builders, and the customer partners, because they are talking to customers. It's not something that product managers have not done. It's just that they are doing it at a different phase. Similarly, customer success architects are not just relationship managers, not just account managers, ensuring that contract renewal happens, but they are now empowered because of LLMs and vibe coding tools to actually build some solutions for customers. At least try it out and make some minor enhancements to the customer's instance of the software. Now, does it mean engineering is not relevant anymore? I don't think so. Engineering is actually way more important than before, because engineering is building that vibe coding tool that forward deployed PMs and customer success architects are using. Engineering is still building the foundations, the infrastructure, the tools, the integration, and the foundational capabilities that are needed. What engineering is not going to do is build features that nobody uses. So I think this is where software development already is in some cases, maybe not very widely recognized in most companies, but this is where we are going. And the strategic impact is, why should we care about all these things? It increases delivery speed by 10 times. And not just speed, it also completely flips the model where it eliminates waste, it accelerates value. Obviously, you can differentiate from your competitors because you're so well aligned with your customers. And it leads to significant success of significant success of your product. um, I thought it was important to point this out because I'm living this experience, and it occurred to me that it's something that we all need to recognize. I hope that helps.